Recording in progress.
Chair, I admitted you, Chair.
I don't know, Chair. I'm not audible. Please, can you assist?
I can't hear anything. I can only see the agenda.
Same applies like me, Honorable Preza. I just see an agenda. I don't see any voice.
Good morning, honorable members. You couldn't hear anything because the chair was not speaking. Welcome to the meeting. Let me welcome all members present. I'm hoping that all of us were here and we do correct for our meeting. Looking at the attendance, of course, we are correcting. Let me take this opportunity to welcome our chief whip, all members, the whip of the committee, and all members of the committee who are present today, and the delegation led by Dr. Krishnan from the province of KwaZulu-Natal, representing the MEC for Kokta, Reverend Buthelezi. You are welcome, HOD, with your team from the province. Without any further ado, we'll have to proceed with the agenda as tabled, members. If we can get an indication, Mr. Manele, on apologies.
Chairperson, thank you very much. Good morning. Chair, in terms of our record, no formal apologies being submitted yet. Thank you very much, Chair.
No formal apologies. From the side of the department, beside the MEC, who have apologized, we received that apology, which must be recorded, that the MEC is unable to attend. Hence, the MEC has decided to delegate the HOD to step in. We need to accept that apology. We move to the adoption of the agenda, members. Honorable members, if you can get a mover and a seconder, respectively. I'm looking at my screen. I don't see any hand, but I'm looking for. Honorable Bedenhorst, move. Honorable Molokome, seconds. Okay, thank you very much. The agenda is now truly being adopted for our consumption. We are not going to be long in terms of the input. We'll just make an indication that the NCOP, through the chairperson's office of the institution, on the 22nd of May, received the notification on the intention to invoke Section 106 of Local Government Systems Act by the MEC in KwaZulu-Natal. As a result, that submission have led to us as a committee to table this matter before this August House to look at the submission and also afford the MEC with an opportunity to brief the committee on his intentions. Then after that, we'll allow members to ask questions and clarities. As we all know, honorable members, that will need to be conducting our oversight over the matter, and Advocate Mbembe will also guide us in terms of how can we best deal with this Section 106 compared to Section 139 that we normally process as part of interventions. then we'll conclude that matter and go to other matters which were dealt with in the previous meeting. Without any further ado, let me request Acting HOD to lead us to Dr. Krishnan to lead us on the intentions by the provincial, by the MEC to invoke Section 106. Let me hand over to you, HOD. You can introduce your team briefly, members. If you can also introduce yourself so that we see whether you do exist or these are just robots which are programmed to be representing you in the meeting. Let's start with our whip of the committee. Just introductions.
Good morning, Chair, and morning, honorable members and officials in this meeting. My name is Regina Mulukomi. I'm the whip of this committee. I'm a permanent delegate from Limpopo province. Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure whether you were able to see
one whip who doesn't see your photo, who doesn't see you.
You don't see me. My video is on. That's why I'm asking if
Now on my side, I don't see you. Members, are you able to see Honorable Whip?
Yeah, we were able to see her, Chair.
Oh, that means it's my computer. No, that means it's my computer. Thank you very much. Let's proceed to the next member.
Rablani Nzimande, permanent delegate from Gauteng.
I hope they were able to see you, Babu Nzimande. Next member.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, Kenny Muima, a member of this committee, hailing all the way from Northern Cape. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the vast province. Next member.
Thank you, Chair. My name is
Morning,
Kanya.
Chair. Morning, members. Rikus Partners, permanent delegate, Western Cape.
Thank you. Next member. Honorable, you can proceed.
No, thank you, Chair. My name is Kanya Kweza. I come from Mpumalanga province. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Makesini, you can follow.
Mandibulise to member Mandisa Makesini for a permanent delegate from Free State. Thank you, Chair.
Enkosi. Simuve siye kutata pa Eastern Cape. Kwiphondo leNgwele.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Mandla Peter, permanent delegate of this committee representing Eastern Cape. Thank you.
Africa.
Honorable Mabibo.
Good morning, Chair and colleagues. My name is Honor Mabebo, representing the province of Bokone Bophirima.
Thank you. Honorable Priyat.
Morning, Chairperson. My name is Tammy Briet and I am from the Free State.
Thank you. Honorable Skir Kocher. Dr. Skir Kocher.
Good morning, Chairperson. Coming from the breadbasket of South Africa, a permanent delegate from the Free State.
Thank you very much. I hope all members have introduced themselves. I'm from KwaZulu-Natal province, from the Kingdom of KwaZulu, permanent delegate. Over to you, HOD, and you can start with introducing your team. Then you proceed with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, Honorable Kaunda. Greetings to the honourable members of the NCOP, the Secretariat of the team. My team that is with me today is Mrs. Sheetal Govender, who's the Director of Forensic Investigations within Cooperative KZN. I also have Mr. Lionel Penar, who is a local government expert supporting the department. Honourable members, just as a preliminary, I want to...
Oh, welcome back, Mr. Penar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairperson, I think this is the first time I can safely say that the department has been called to the NCOP to present on forensic investigations in terms of Section 106 of the Municipal Systems Act. It is also an inception meeting or just a briefing based on the inception of the investigation from our side. Chairperson, I just, in terms of protocols, perhaps the committee needs to be mindful that these investigations are commencing at this point in time, that whatever information we share with the committee as a department should be treated confidentially. So the request is that the meeting might be held in committee to preserve the integrity of the investigation. We often get questions, and those that might be implicated in investigations are likely to take us on if they feel in any way that their rights have been prejudiced and we have not followed a very clear process. So that's our humble request, Chairperson.
Maybe once we are still there, HOD,
yes,
I'll request the team to stop recording this meeting for the purpose that you are raising. Because when you are recording in these platforms, even someone who has not been part of this meeting will also be able to access information. Unless if somebody has got a different opinion about that, but that is my little knowledge I know for now. When you record, even somebody who has not participated can be able to access information. I think that's the actual request that you are also raising. And looking at the participants, all those who are supposed to be here, they are here from the committee with our records of who is in attendance, and will be appealing to everybody who is a participant to ascertain that confidentiality on these matters is very key. And we took a pledge as members of parliament that will not divulge information which is still embargoed. So that's a pledge that we have taken. So we are also appealing to the support team members to do exactly the same. I don't know whether that covers your request, HOD. There's a hand. Let me check. Honorable Zimande. I see Mr. Manele as well. Yes, Honorable Zimande, you can come first.
No, assist me, Chair. Whether is this a normal or it is a practice that there will be such a waiver where official meeting will not record what is raised. It's not the first time that we deal with sensitive matters. We've been doing and dealing with such sensitive matters. And obviously, as we are sitting in this committee, irrespective that we are appointed to the committee, accountability on these matters, because they're out in the public actually. It is known now that we have this challenge at Mkhanyabode. Please assist me, which really practice the rule, or it's just the first time that there will be such a waiver that is requested from us, and what does it set as a precedent? Thank you.
Now you are right, Honorable Nzimande will also allow the legal advisor, if there is a such request, what becomes the reaction of the committee, because there is a specific request that has been made. Mr. Manela?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I think Honorable Nzimande partially covered what I wanted to say. Fortunately, Advocate Mbembe is in the meeting. There's a procedure to deal with in-camera meeting and dealing with confidentiality of information. Can you please, maybe Advocate Mbembe would outline clearly what is the procedure for that? Because in terms of, as far as I know, we'll have to submit a request to the office of the chairperson of NCOP, and necessary arrangement to deal with the matter as acting HOD has requested is dealt with procedurally, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's allow Advocate Mbembe, because it's for the first time we receive such a request. Advocate Mbembe.
Thanks, Chairperson. Good morning, members and colleagues. Chair, let me first start with this. Indeed, we have never considered Section 106 investigations. But Chair, like as the HOD said, like what we
sorry, Advocate, we did last week.
No, Chair. I'm saying, Chair, like we never like
the request.
Yes, Chair, I'm coming there, Chair.
Okay.
I was responding to the HOD that normally, as she already said that they never appeared until in this seventh parliament on Section 106, and normally they will table that they are initiating an investigation in terms of Section 106, and then we will wait for the full report. And then after the full report has been shared, like, we don't want to preempt what the report or the investigation will say. So we wait for the final report. After the final report has been tabled, then that's when the committee will decide how to proceed with the matter. I wanted to first agree with the HOD on that one. So, Chairperson, on this issue that is being requested, Rule 127 of the NCOP rule does allow a committee to take a decision, and then it states that like one of the issues, like the issue of let me read it, Chair. The committee or a subcommittee, meeting of a committee and subcommittee are open to public, including the media, and the chairperson may not exclude the public, including the media, from the meeting, except when the Constitution, the legislation, these rules, or the resolution of the Council provide for the committee or subcommittee to meet in closed session, or the committee or subcommittee is considering a matter which is of a private nature that is prejudicial to a particular person. As the HOD requested, this is where the matter falls, Chair. So it's up to the committee to decide. I understand some committees have taken decision on a particular matter to meet in private. So the committee, if the committee agrees, I think, Chair, the rules allow that. Thank you.
Yeah, HOD, to look, when we looked at your report, it doesn't give specific names of the people. For now, it's just a high-level report which briefs the committee on the intentions. So the only consideration where the committee will say when we are discussing it is when we'll be bringing back the report, which will be mentioning people's name, those who are charged, and all of that. So I think for now we can continue recording the meeting and open the meeting for public consumption as we are proceeding. Then when the report is brought back to us, then we'll consider the request that the HOD is making. So for now, we think we can proceed because we also dealt with Section 106 submissions last week, and they were presented before the committee. So we cannot create a precedent that at this stage that we can just close the meeting to only members of the committee. So we'll allow you to proceed, HOD, and the team will continue to record our engagements. Thank you. Over to you, HOD.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson and members. We're happy to appear before the committee and always to account. As indicated, honourable members, this is an opportunity for the department to brief the National Council of Provinces, and that's in terms of Section 106.3A, which requires us to submit a notice to the chairperson to brief on an investigation that the MEC for local government is instituting. I think the statutory requirements are Section 106 states that if the MEC has reason to believe that a municipality doesn't fulfill a statutory obligation or that maladministration, fraud and corruption is occurring in that municipality, then the MEC, and I want to emphasize, honourable members, that the MEC must, by written notice to the municipality, request the to provide information, or if the MEC considers it necessary, then designate a person or persons to investigate the matter. So it is not a discretion of the MEC. The discretion lies in whether the MEC calls for information or the MEC proceeds to investigate. In this particular instance, honourable members, the MEC has decided to investigate the matter that based on the allegations received. Also, in terms of 106.1b, we are required to, when we invoke Section 106.1b, then we must provide the notice to the NCOP why the MEC is undertaking this action. And it is based on that notice, honourable members, that we appear before you today to present the decisions. By way of background and in respect of the motivation for the investigation at Umkhanyakude District Municipality, we received a number of allegations during the period August 2024 to March 2025. There were various allegations relating to fraud, corruption, and maladministration, and they were received from 3 different sources. So that, for us, corroborates the idea that there might well have been maladministration, fraud, and corruption, and it provides greater motivation for the MEC then to consider the investigation. We also then had briefed the MEC on various grant-funded infrastructure projects funded through the MIG, Municipal Infrastructure Grant, and there were a number of unfinished projects where we then considered these, and in particular, there was one water project within Umkhanyakude district that remained incomplete. It was in the Nondabuya water project. And although, and of concern was really the fact that the project had run excessively over budget, in almost 20 million rand over budget. It also had spanned a longer period of time than ought to have been necessary to conduct the project. And at the end of it all, the project remained incomplete. There is still no water to the community itself, and there have been numerous service delivery protests as a result of this lack of water service delivery. But of major concern is the fact that basic principles of project management were not adhered to and applied. And those are pertaining to remaining within budget, within cost, and within time. So one would then question why the project management was not effective in this particular manner. and at the end of the day, the project remains incomplete. We then assessed as a department the information that we had received from the whistleblower and from other sources, because we as a department, particularly in relation to the Nondabuya water project, COGTA has a role in terms of MIG. So we would receive and process MIG applications. We would upload these onto the MIG information management system. We would also then monitor progress from time to time at municipalities. And then we would need to then look at the value for money and the outcomes of the project. What we then did, because of our role as a department, we felt it was absolutely necessary, and as an accounting officer, to look into why this situation occurred and whether or not there were any irregularities in the process. So we then undertook a preliminary investigation as a department related to these irregularities and pertaining to the expenditure, the procurement processes, and the services that were delivered. From our preliminary assessment, we found numerous irregularities. On the procurement side, on the project management side, we found instances of duplicate payments having been made. Just to indicate clearly, Chair, that that immediately points to either an absolute dereliction of duty or collusion in the form of, and that would be tantamount to maladministration, fraud, and/or corruption. We then instituted disciplinary proceedings already, despite the fact that we are proceeding with the investigation at a municipal level. As a department, we have prima facie evidence against our officials that it was clearly a dereliction of duty. So we have already commenced with internal processes in this regard and given the COGTA role. But we do need to then investigate at the municipality. We need to investigate the project. We need to get to the bottom of some of those procurement irregularities, the duplicate payments, and various other issues pertaining to the project. We also note, Chairperson, that Umkhanyakude district is under intervention by the Provincial Executive Council, and there is an onus on us to investigate this. And given the seriousness of the allegations, there has to be, it really has to be undertaken by the MEC. I think the legislation is clear that the MEC must investigate allegations of maladministration, fraud, and corruption. But in this particular instance, Chair, we can safely say that we have more than just allegations. We, through our preliminary investigation, have found certainly that there are practices that were irregular that required more detailed and further investigation. We have commenced our SEM process, honourable members. We should make an appointment of our panel of investigators by the end of this week. I think the closing is today. So we will then evaluate, and we should make an appointment by the end of the week. Our process is that upon appointment of the investigators, we will then go to the Municipal Council of Umkhanyakude, and we will make a similar presentation where we will brief council on the reasons behind the investigation and the process. And we will introduce the investigation team to the accounting officer as well as the council. Obviously, if the accounting officer is implicated, then we would request that the accounting officer recuse him or herself as well. In this case, we have not directly found the accounting officer to be responsible. I think this was a period of time prior to the current accounting officer being appointed. We then have 90 days in which to conclude the investigation. And once the investigation is concluded, we will table the report that we have with the council, full council of Umkhanyakude district. And we will then also allow them a 21-day period in which they will be required to respond to the findings and recommendations in the report, whereafter we will monitor the implementation of the report. We will also share with the committee, the chairperson of the committee, the final report to indicate what the outcomes of the investigation has been and what the anticipated implementation and is required. Chairperson, I think we would then like to end there and indicate that we will be able to indicate progress if there's any challenge that we experience on the part of the municipality, if there's non-cooperation, or if there's any other matter that arises during the course of the processes. We will keep the chairperson abreast of the progress in the investigation. And we are happy, chairperson, at the end of the investigation to also then brief the committee on the findings and recommendations. I trust, chairperson, that the committee will be satisfied with the investigation process and the manner in which we are handling the matter. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Shoti. Let's hear from your members, your delegation, if there are any additions on what you have presented. I can now see you. I don't know what was happening with my computer. I can see you, Shoti. If there are no additions, honorable members, the time permits that you engage in terms of questions and clarities. Remember, we are not going to be getting into the merit of this proposed investigation, since the department is still going to be undertaking other processes up until we receive a report. For now, it's just questions, clarities on what has just been presented before us. Let me take hands. Honorable Skir Kocher, you are the first. Honorable Nzimande, second. Honorable Bedenhorst, you are the third. Honorable Kaiza, you are the fourth. Honorable Mabibo, you are the fifth. Honorable Priet, you are the sixth. Then Honorable Peter, you are number 7. Honorable Makesini, you are number 8. Then Honorable Molokome is number 9. Let's take your hands in that order, honorable members. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yeah, I don't know if Dr. Christian, if it's a compliment, but it was always good to hear from you, and even though it's under these circumstances, and I think you've been acting for a while, I think they need to take you off the stage and not make you acting anymore, because I've always, you've been doing a great job. Thank you, Chairperson. I'm just going to go straight into it because, as you said, we're not going to delve into the merit, and we'll be waiting for the oversight. I just want to see from the doctor, when did this project started, and when was the projected completion date of this project, so that we can see when did they start picking up that these problems and all of these reports have been receiving, and then obviously we'll get the details of what was the progress. Then I want to ask the second question: what has been the response from Mayor Maduka about this? All of these allegations have been made, but what has been the response from the mayor and the accounting officers? Because I didn't see much detail into the presentation that we have. My next question is, what kind of whistleblowing channels will you implement or give more to effect? Because obviously, as you dig into this process, you will be receiving more reports, and to how to see that you will prevent any intimidation that's going to happen, and people that are coming forward to this thing, because this is a serious issue that's happening. Because as the report that I also received from locals there, that there's been in this municipality, they've been going on years where residents are drinking water with animals. So my second last question is then, what is the interim solution that COGTA is going to do to work with either with the provincial Department of Water and Sanitation or National Department in Sanitation? Because apart from going on with this investigation and making to see what's happening with the corruption and maladministration, what happened, people still need water. So COGTA would need to facilitate this process. And then just the last question on the report, you said that you're going to go and do have an appointment this week with them. My question is just, when would we expect this report to be finalized so that we can know that the people of this district municipality and the local communities will get water? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Skill Coker. It's Mayam Daga. I know and understand, because you're from Free State. You had Maduka, who played for Bloemfontein Celtics. Let me take Honorable Nzimande.
Thank you, Chair. No, Chair, you are correct. We shall never deal with the merits. Now, my question are as follows, and are very light. I need just to understand why in the presentation there's a preemption of a methodology that must be applied by the investigator. Why don't you let the investigator develop the methodology on what is to be done, and because that is separate from the terms of reference? That's one. The second question relates to whether there are criminal cases opened against individuals, and including the service provider in issue. And is there a process already initiated to recover the payments? The other question relates to why preempt that senior managers in terms of the presentation. Senior managers are not implicated. Why do you want to subject this report within 21 days to the council to implement, until locking yourself up in a process on records that you undertook to take this to the council, unless that is clarified later that they are innocent? The last question is divided into three, and the HOD will understand it better, because it relates to the situation where these supply chain people utilize the weaknesses in the legislation. Now, the question is, was this service provider or the contractor appointed on the basis of a lowest quotation? Were other service providers eliminated only on that basis? Because they might have quoted a bit higher. Can it not happen that the total now that is spent beyond what was budgeted is equivalent or even above what the second bidder, if there was a through quotation, the second bidder quoted, and what obviously is the view of the department in relation to that kind of a practice? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll allow HOD and the team to respond to these two questions, to these two members who have raised around 6 questions. Let's allow HOD to respond, then we'll take other team members there.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and honorable members, for the questions. Let me start perhaps just in terms of the process raised by Honorable Nzimande. What we've provided, Chairperson, is just a broad framework and the process that we undertake as COGTA in our engagement with the local government sphere in undertaking forensic investigations, because, you know, they do need to consider that the MEC has this authority. We need to respect the council, because ordinarily it is a council that would have to act against senior managers if they are implicated in any matter. We also want the buy-in of council for this investigation, because we require cooperation during the course of the investigation from officials and maybe even councillors themselves. We are not limiting the investigator in any way. They will prepare their own investigation plan. They will look at the allegations. They will determine who needs to be interviewed, what documentation is required. And as they receive information, they will then understand whether they need to probe further and to deal with other matters. So they will follow the chain until they get to all of the questions being answered. Honorable Member Nzimande, at this stage, for a criminal case, we do need beyond reasonable doubt and sufficient evidence to open a criminal case. Yes, we can if there are allegations, but we believe that, as we have done in other instances, if a proper investigation is done and it is then handed over to the SAPS to implement the criminal side, then the matters proceed much quicker. Because you then don't have an investigator that is now investigating from SAP separately. We are then also able to ensure that the investigators proceed in accordance with their plan. As indicated, the report will be expected, Honorable Skreerkogel, within 90 days. But that obviously depends on how the investigation is proceeding. If there's additional time required, then we will monitor it and manage it accordingly, not interfering in the investigation process at all as COGTA. So similarly, the recovery process will also then happen after the investigation, because once the investigation is done, we will have firm findings, firm recommendations, which may include criminal and civil recovery, as well as disciplinary processes, and that would then enable the council to act on a duly undertaken investigation. In terms of I think I've covered all of the issues. In terms of the quotations, bidding, and so on, I think we have done our preliminary assessment was based on the department's role and the processing of invoices, capturing thereof on the MIG information management system, and so on. We did look at some of the procurement documentation that was submitted to the department for approval. And so that's where the preliminary investigation then leads us to believe that there is much more to this than meets the eye. We've engaged His Worship the Mayor, because remember, this project, as I said, is incomplete. And the municipal, we have what we call a MIG business plan appraisal committee that was in place for many years. Part of the allegations was that, that there was conflicts of interest within that committee as well. We then reconstituted the MIG Business Plan Appraisal Committee as a department together with DCOG. We then also we then indicated to the municipalities that provide MIG reports that we do not want unfinished projects. We don't want new MIG projects on the system when other MIG projects remain unfinished. So we wanted to review all of that. And so we took some time in approving these. And in particular, because of the risk of, or the indications of possible maladministration, fraud, and corruption, we did not want Umkhanyakude District Municipality to proceed with the completion of the project. The municipality did put out a bid to complete the project, and I had to write to the accounting officer to indicate that he should not proceed because the matter is under investigation. We need to see exactly where the project currently stands from an investigative point of view. We need to test value for money as it stands. And if the municipality continued then with the completion of the project, it would be very difficult to prove value for money. It would be very difficult to prove loss of revenue or any other aspect related to the investigation. So the response that we've received, the Executive Committee and Council of Umkhanyakude District considered that letter to say, please do not proceed with the investigation. And they have responded favorably. Mayor Mdaka and the accounting officer have responded to say that they will await the completion of the investigation. And as COGTA, we have also committed to complete the project as part of the implementation of our water master plan once we have concluded the investigation. So I think that is the feedback that we have from the municipality and the context as well for members. In terms of the whistleblowing challenge, in terms of maybe on the water side, what has COGTA done? Honorable members, the municipality has still utilized boreholes in certain areas, but in addition, we have, as the department, made available where there are still, lapses and interruptions due to the boreholes running dry or other aspects. We have made available one water tanker completely dedicated to this community that is not receiving water through this water scheme. That water tanker is also located at Jozini Municipality because of the practical and logistical arrangements that we wanted to make and to reduce cost on the part of the department. We are paying for the driver, we are paying for the fuel. Umkhanyakude District Municipality has made available a watering point from which the tanker can draw water, which is then distributed to the community. So we have tried to be as responsive as possible within our own limitations, mandate, and cost containment restrictions. The whistleblowing channels, I think the investigators will reflect in the investigation plan what methodology they will use to elicit information. But generally, if there are other whistleblowers, they may obviously make inputs to the department. We do allow for protected disclosures in accordance with the Protected Disclosures Act. And if that does happen, then we, together with our Director of Forensic Investigations and our Legal Services Director, are able to accept protected disclosures as well. So those mechanisms are in place. But as I said, in this instance, the investigators will also determine. And generally, when the investigation commences on site, then you might find officials wanting to come forward. And then they go ahead and they look for the investigators. And the investigators will work on site in many instances to undertake the investigation. So, Chairperson, I think I have covered everything. We're not able to respond in terms of the bidders and so on at this stage. I think all of that will be analyzed fully during the course of the investigation, and then we will be able to respond to more direct questions in that regard. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Eshoti, I couldn't hear you clearly on the completion date because you have advised municipality not to proceed. But what was the actual completion, the commencement date and the actual completion?
The project commenced in 2018, Chairperson, and then it was supposed to have been completed in 2020. and it remained unfinished as at August 2024 when we received the allegations. And as a department, we then only started delving into the matter since then. And we've now come to the stage where we believe a full-blown forensic investigation into the matter is required. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, no, thanks. That's clear. The next member is Honorable Badenhorst.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, all. Most of my questions have been addressed. I just got a few left, Chair. Can the department confirm whether any of the investigators designated have previously worked with or against the implicated service providers or officials? So I just want to check if there's any conflict of interest with regards to the investigators, and if there is, how will this be handled? How does the department reconcile the full drawdown of project funds? And we just heard the project started in 2018, completed in 2020, and then we're sitting now at 2025, and now we hear it's not completed. So how does the department reconcile the full drawdown of project funds, including the cost variations, against this incomplete infrastructure? I mean, were there any red flags raised during the grant disbursement or during the project milestone reviews? And if there were red flags raised, why was nothing done at that stage? Why did we have to wait for whistleblowers to come to the fore? Given that this municipality is already under Section 1391B, what specific executive failures continue to persist, and why has the current intervention not corrected these issues? Is there then a clear threshold or trigger at which the intervention would escalate to a Section 1391C dissolution? Because that's what it looks like this municipality is heading to, given the compounding of failures from 2018 with regards to this project. And then mention was made of the mitigation measures, water tankers, etc. I just want to ask whether the mitigation measures are sufficient for the current basic needs of that community while they're waiting for the investigation to complete. Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you. The next member is Honorable Kaiser.
No, thank you very much, Chair. Most of the questions have been covered by members. We are not going to go through the merits and demerits of the case in order to protect the integrity of the investigation. But Chair, we welcome the Section 161B report investigation and the tabling by the HOD. Just a few questions left, Chair. Whether HOD you have other additional provincial Section 103 data coming from legacy reports of the 6th Parliament to ensure that also we table those, you table those, and then perhaps the secretariat of the committee together with the procedural officer may check those records for us and bring them to the attention of this committee. That includes that legacy report on Section 106 investigations in KZN. And then you specifically spoke to the preliminary investigations that have already found against officials of COCTA. I just wanted to ask whether those irregularities found against those already on the officials, whether these officials have been suspended. If not, why not? And then it's really concerning that the money that has been spent past the budgeted with over budget of 20 million, and with the result that people are not receiving water as planned. And we really support the investigation, and we look forward to an oversight over the outcomes of this investigation. And then when we mention the last one, when you mention the investigator, do you mean the involvement of law enforcement agencies in terms of the SIU? And if yes, when can we expect them to bring that report to the select committee? Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Kaza. The next member is Honorable Mabibo.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Most of the questions have been covered by my colleagues, but mine is just on allegations of fraud, corruptions, and maladministration, and the incomplete water project with 20 million over budget at Nkaba Nyagute. What is the department intending to do with that? And then there was the issue of the duplicate payment. Who actually benefited? And how will the department recoup that money? Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll leave that to the investigation, Honorable Mabibo. Then when we get the report, it will reveal who were involved. Right. Let's get the next member. Honorable Priyat.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, thank you for the presentation by the acting HOD. As was said, a lot has been asked, so I'm going to stick to, I think it's 4 questions. Please just remind me, when did the Section 139(1)(b) administration start? Because I then assume that this project started before the intervention. I just want to get those timelines correct. Then the HOD said that the investigation will take 90 days, but you also said they're still, I missed that, looking at or being in the process of appointing somebody to investigate. When does that 90 days start? If she can just be clear on that process. It's clear it's 90 days from that start, but when does that actually start? Then I just want to ensure that I'm understanding correctly. So there was a municipal and the provincial investigation into this project, but the province requested the municipality to stop with its investigation so that the Section 106 report can continue. If I just want clarity if I'm understanding that correctly, and what is the current stance of the project? Do we have a contractor on site? Are they continuing with work, or has that also halted to conclude this investigation? And Chairperson, just lastly, maybe just a comment from my side. I think Honourable Badenhorst touched on that, and that was with regard to the mitigation measures. Coming from the Free State, we've seen a lot of maladministration with water tankers and people actually benefiting and making money from that, and it not serving the community and not reaching it. So maybe just, are we ensuring that we are not doing one thing and investigating one thing and causing then another potential crisis? Chairperson, let me leave it at that. Thanks.
Thank you. The next member is Honorable Peter.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the DG for the short presentation. Chair, I would like to register my concern and my one question to the DG. My concern is, Chair, this maladministration, Chair, is a planned one from top to bottom. Both national and provincial, they knew about this. If not, what question? My question would be, Chair, what consequence management were imposed to these municipal officials who are implicated? The DG now, Chair, explained that the project was commenced on the 2018 and the end date was for 2020. What's happening about 2021, 2022, 2023? Because the investigation of the project, it started in 2024, as she says. What happened in 2021 and 2022, 2023? I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Peter. We lost your picture there. Yes, we can see you now. Yeah. No, your attire is 100%. We are still within Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's then take the next member, Honorable Makesini.
No, thanks, Chairperson. I just want to also to join on the question of Honorable Brett on the issue of the section 139 when it was started, and as they have arrived, because they've been complaining that they've been there for the longest time. They didn't observe till the whistleblowers started to complain in August 2024 up until March. What did the administrator since the invocation of section 139? Because it didn't start it in the 7 administration. There were no trends that they have suspected or any report that was happening regarding to that project, because I do believe that project was funded by the MIC project grants. So there were no reports that were tabled regarding to the progress of the report. Number 2, I just want to check the state of maybe the percentage of the project to date, so that we avoid more vandalism, or while they are aware now, the investigators, they will start to do the investigation on that project. Maybe more harm towards the project will be done. Is there any security that has been protecting the project to date? If not, please, if they can do that, just to protect whatever that they've been started, because they were work that was started. If they can give us the state of the project to date, so that we know while the investigation, they don't do harm again to the project. But I'm worried, Chair, maybe I need clarity to yourself, or maybe to advocate. This municipality is under section 1391B. Now there is an invocation of section 106. Are we not doing duplicate? Is there any limitation under the section 139? Hence, now they are coming to us with the invocation of another section 106. Is there any limitation that stop the administrators of the province to do the investigation unless they were involved, the official of the department, there is an involvement? If none, why they didn't table the report in time and check the state of the readiness of that project? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Makesini. The next member is Honorable Molokome. Then we'll allow the department led by the HOD to respond.
I think my camera has shown the other direction. Thank you, Chairperson. I can see myself now. I'm sure honorable members are able to see me.
Yes, that's a direction we're afraid before. So that's the safest direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. And sorry for that, my apology. Thanks, Chair, and for already greeted members. Chair, most of my question has been covered or raised by honorable members. The section 1391B, I'm a bit worried, Chair, when coming to this section, because when we the department came to the NCOP so that they can be able to implement this section or invoke this section to the same municipality. But my worry is how did they not pick up the this issue of the very same project that we are talking about now. And I know that municipalities are audited. So do you want to tell me that even the Auditor General did not pick up the very same issue that you were only alerted by the whistleblowers? So what is our responsibility as the department to go and assist at those municipalities? Because it obviously is long overdue, like what Honorable Marquezine is asking about now. You want to invoke Section 106 in the very same municipality, even though we know this is talking about the forensic investigation in terms of the very same project. But my take, Chair, is that they should have been able to pick up the issues of this project. We know in most municipalities, we have the very same challenge of the unfinished project. And my worry is that the money has been paid. That's a huge amount of money that we are told on the report that has been spent already. So I want to check the percentage, what is the percentage that the project is at right now? Is it at 90% completion or not? So I just want to check, because the completion date is long overdue. And if I'm correct, the HOD has mentioned that the project now has stopped until the investigation is done. Then they will take over to finish the project, if I've heard her correctly, on that issue. Because the issue of water is a very sensitive issue. Our people cannot stay without having water, even though she had mentioned that there are some means that they have made as the department to make sure that those people are getting water. But it's not enough. We can't have projects that are not finished and expect our community to just live like that. So the other issue that I want to check, even
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
The HOD has mentioned that within a week they'll go and introduce the investigation team, and then the issue of the 90 days. Is the HOD sure that the 90 days that they are giving us, they will be completed with the investigations itself? And I want to check if there's a cooperation in the very same municipality, because I know that when you investigate the very same people, you might find that there's a bit of resistance in terms of the information that you'll be looking at. So I just want to check if there's a signs of resistance in terms of, because this is not the first investigation the municipality investigating. It means there are some challenges that the municipality were faced with in terms of maybe getting the information. So how sure you are going to get the relevant information that you'll be looking at, so that you are able to finish within the set days that you are giving us of the 90 days. So I think most of the issues, Chair, were covered, were raised by honorable members. So I'll just stop there, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Molokome. I don't see any other hand. We can now hand over to the HOD and the team to respond to all questions.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and again, honourable members. I think I find as much pleasure appearing before this committee as you do having me here. Chairperson, I think in terms of the service provider conflict of interest, I think that will be determined. Even the duplicate payments, they have already been made, so those will be part of the criminal side and civil recovery processes when they occur. But the investigation will then determine exactly and to whom those payments were made. The reconciliation of the project costs and the variations, we did it at a preliminary level as the department, as part of our preliminary investigation. And that's what prompted us to proceed with the full-scale investigation. Why the red flags were not raised, Chairperson, this is a project that, and I think in response to the timing issue, the project has been laying dormant since 2020. So it hasn't moved since 2020. There were no contractors on site between then and now. The municipality was then proceeding now with the appointment of new service providers to complete the project, which is when we then said, look, please do not continue because of the need for this investigation. And what we have said is that the project will be completed by COGTA. See, the investigation processes, so the terms of reference, the intervention, and I want to deal with them separately because they are two separate issues. We don't have a blanket intervention approach. We cannot go into a municipality and take over everything. So we do determine the triggers of the intervention. And then based on the triggers of the intervention, we then define the terms of reference of the ministerial representatives that are appointed. And in the case of Umkhanyakude district, what we found at the time of the commencement of the intervention, which was the latter part of 2021, was that the municipality was failing to table previous forensic investigation reports. They were also failing to fill senior management positions. They were not paying creditors. Their cash flow position was terrible. They had negative audit outcome. They were preventing, there was a failure to prevent unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. And there was a lack of a preventative maintenance program. So when the ministerial representative goes in, the terms of reference are strictly around these matters. They will, if they pick up anomalies during the course of their time, they deal with particular matters. So, for example, on the side of UIFW, there was a whole range of other transactions post this project that were identified and raised as irregular expenditure that required investigation. As COGTA, then, we also sought to support the MPAC to address UIFW expenditure, and we had dealt with only one portion of it. The municipality itself did undertake an investigation into this Nondabuya water project as irregular expenditure. But there was an allegation that the service provider that the municipality had appointed, and I'm really taking the committee into confidence now, because we've received this allegation to say that the service provider that the municipality had appointed to undertake the investigation had been part of the Nondabuya water project as well. We don't know the extent of it. We still have to test that and determine. But we will then, if that is the case, and if the investigation reveals otherwise in terms of the findings of their investigator, we will then review the condemnation by the municipality of the irregular expenditure. The Auditor General did pick up the issue as well as part of their audit. And their audit would have not been investigative in nature, but it would have been an audit to say, you are over budget and the project is incomplete. There might not have been value for money. Therefore, the amount is then regarded as irregular, and the municipality then, in terms of Section 32 of the MFMA, would have to conduct their investigation to deal with the treatment of the irregular expenditure. And that's where we're saying there is still doubt now about the integrity of that investigation itself, which we will test as part of this. So the nature of the two functions, the 139 and the investigations, are very different and distinct. We would also like to keep it that way, because even if an administrator picks up, issues that require in-depth investigation, then they will refer it to the department, and then we will take on the 106 process to undertake the investigation in support thereof. So I think I will say that in as far as those processes are concerned. The issue of the stopping of the investigation, stopping of contractors, I think I've covered. There are no contractors on site. What we did stop is the municipality's bid process to appoint and commission a new contractor to complete the project until such time as we have dealt with this. On the issue of the water tankers, Honorable Breed, we apply the internal controls of the department in terms of water tankering. So we measure both fuel costs, kilometers travels. We have tracker on our vehicle. We measure the water that is dispersed by the water tanker. And these, in any event, are also audited by the Auditor General. So it's not up to the municipality. And it's located, as I said, at Jozini. So we do maintain monthly records and control sheets from the drivers as well. So I think that is something we can deal with. There has been, it would appear, honorable members, that the MIG management system and the oversight and the project management side of things has been weak. We cannot remotely manage infrastructure projects. It's something that we are learning as a department, and this project is teaching us that we certainly need to do things differently. We have therefore suspended, as indicated, the project manager in this matter, because as a project manager, basic project management principles would have raised the red flags already for this to have been further assessed. And so it's also been reported to DCOG. So when we wrote to the municipality also to stop the project, we copied the national minister in this regard. And we've advised DCOG that there is a challenge. They will also be looked at in terms of the investigation. So their project managers, their officials will also be questioned on what was your role? Why did you not identify these anomalies earlier? What are the systems weaknesses? What are the control weaknesses? Or is there something more sinister? And we're hoping to get to the bottom of that in terms of the actual investigation process. I think the percentage completion, as far as security, yes, the site is secured. And also in terms of the tabling in council. The reason why we tabling or the non-tabling of this in council, the council did consider their own investigation report, and it's a question of the capacity and the skills of the investigators, the administration, and the council to deal with the matters. We will make sure that we take councillors along with us in dealing with the matters. The 90 days will start from the commencement, and as I said, we will be introducing it next week to the municipality, and from there on, so by the end of August, we ought to have concluded the investigation, ceteris paribus, I might say, but with all things being equal, when the municipality cooperating, the information being made available, and so on. Let me also say that the investigators will investigate the project, but the department has also, as part of the process of the completion of the Nondabuyo water project, we will do an initial assessment using quantity surveyors and engineers before we even complete the project. And that process is also a simultaneous process that is going to be undertaken by the department. So we are managing very carefully a very complex situation and multiple processes to ensure that we do not compromise either of the processes, or delay any further the issue of ensuring that the communities within Jozini receive water from the Nondabuyo water project. The investigator themselves, Honorable Keza, is not the law enforcement, so we're not referring this matter to SAPS or SIU at this stage. This is an investigator that will be appointed by the department I think our experience says that when you do refer matters to the law enforcement agencies due to their, the onerous caseload that they might have and their own capacity constraints, it is likely to extend into long, lengthy periods of times for the investigations to be concluded, and we do not want this to be stuck as one of those other cases with law enforcement agencies. So the investigators, we have an investigation panel that has been appointed with certified fraud examiners and forensic investigators, and they will undertake the investigation. What then happens is, on the conclusion of the investigation, I will, as the accounting officer, sign an Annexure 1 certificate to SAPS, where the investigation report will be referred for criminal investigation. And then the SAPS will take it over from there. And of course, if the investigation has been well done, then there will not be too much in terms of the process to implement remedial action to deal with criminal matters, civil recovery, and discipline matters that arise from there. So that will be our engagement with law enforcement agencies at that point in time. I think, Honourable Chair, I think you've covered me in terms of we can provide the Secretariat with a report and overview of all of the investigations we have processed as a department to date. And then as we go forward in terms of each investigation that is being undertaken, the NCOP will be advised and the detailed reports will be supplied. Our overall report will reflect those where really at this stage municipalities have implemented recommendations that have come from it or are in final stages and process. And we will share that as appropriate with yourselves, honourable members. Chairperson, unless I have missed anything, I think I've tried to cover questions that were similar or pointing in the different themes. And I hope that I've covered everything from members. Otherwise, I will be advised, Chair, and I can respond more pointedly if necessary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, HOD, for the responses to the question by members. We are, of course, looking forward to get a report after 3 months, 90 days. When we were in Zululand, there was also a mention of Section 106 there, and stakeholders were demanding to see that report. So the reports that you have made reference to needs to be forwarded to the committee, if possible, for those which have been completed, even when there are no actions taken after the completion of such reports. If we can get that within 14 days from this meeting, we'll appreciate that as a committee, just to have a look on how these investigations have been followed up. Thank you very much for your time and the report, a detailed report that you have given before this committee. It's always give us pleasure to be interacting with you. You've been with us, and we also wish that your department also accelerate the process of closing this vacancy at a high level of the HOD, so that we lead by example to those municipalities that are also having vacancies at senior management level. So, but we thank you for everything, for the concerted efforts that you are putting in the post where you are. Thank you very much, HOD, and thank you to your team. You can be at liberty to vacate the room if you feel so, because we are going to be dealing with the in-house matters of the committee. But thank you. Send our regards to the MEC for the report that we have received. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honourable members. I will take my leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, please tell me when my video is up and down, because I don't see myself here on the screen. I don't want you to see my shoes.
We can see you, Chair.
It's better to see my tie and my suit. Thank you. Members, hey, we were lucky that you recovered early, Honorable Molokome, on your video. Thank you very much. Members, we now go to the other matters. If you can beam the agenda. I think the next issue deals with the reports that we received, and we'll be updating members on the processes and see what needs to be done. But we have requested Advocate Mvembe to give us an opinion as to how can we better deal with the Section 106 as a committee, because they are not similar to Section 139, where before you even get into a process of determining what is your view as a committee, you need to go and conduct oversight. But at what stage with 106 that we're supposed to be making our determination, whether after 90 days when the report has been concluded, or we can do that without conducting oversight visit, but also making a determination whether we support such investigations. So we'll request that before we deal with matters, we'll request Advocate Mvembe to come in, because most of the matters we are dealing with, we dealt with last week, were concerning Section 106. Honourable Member, over to you.
Thanks, Shebiso, once more. Chair,
I call the Honourable Member now, Advocate. Advocate Member.
Thanks, Chair. Maybe, Chair, it's something to come in the future. Thanks, Chair. Chair.
Yeah, I must receive.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, as I noted that in the past, when we received Section 106 notice of investigation, we will await for the report. I don't remember, Chair, the committees in the past dealing extensively with 106. But in my proposal, Chair, I would suggest that we await for the report, because the report will come with a full investigation process and the recommendations taken. And from there on, the committee may take its own oversight to determine and then make its own mind after that. That would be my proposal, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Advocate. There's a process, honourable members, that Advocate is advising us to follow. So on the reports that were presented last week concerning Section 106, we'll await for the reports to be concluded in 3 months, 90 days. But there is one Section 139, which we need to set up an oversight visit as well, so that we can go and conduct such an oversight and come back and make our determination. So that's how these matters would be dealt with. We can allow members, if there are questions, to what the Advocate has advised us on. Is it clear, members?
Yes, let me ask, Chair.
Oh, Honorable Nzimande, followed by Honorable Chief Whip Mwima.
Now, let us understand what is the implication of this advice in relation to the expectation by the province from NCOP, whether to support the initiation or invocation of Section 106, um, does it mean they must wait up until, and what will be the status of them implementing without us making any pronouncement? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nzimande. Honorable Moimang.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, the starting point is to appreciate the advice from the advocate, and the appreciation is informed by my understanding that there has to be that appreciation of the distinctive nature of this years and the ability of the national government to exercise its support, but more than that, to ensure that these municipalities are able to exercise their responsibilities in terms of the constitution, and therefore the the fact that we are setting a precedent in terms of dealing with a preliminary investigation. I think it's an area that that obviously we need to be conscious of, because I mean, even during the engagement, clearly the posture one could interpret it as making some insinuation and even putting the cart before the horse. So therefore, I would fully support such advice, because obviously I think in terms of exercising oversight, it becomes important that we appreciate what is happening across the country. So we note the, I think the chair could just note the matter that would have been referred to the committee by the chair, and then allow the work to be done. And once Section 106 is completed, then it's then that we can invite the MEC to come and make a presentation to the committee, so that we are then able to allow them ample opportunity to do their work without necessarily ensuring that we sort of it's like micromanagement of another arm of government. That's my interpretation, and hence I thought the advice that is being given gives us much more better option. Of course, in relation to Section 139, then definitely we'll go all out, because then there would have been a basis for us to do that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Moimang. Your jacket looks warm, and the chair will expropriate it without compensation. We'll see how I execute that, Honorable Whip, Chief Whip. Thank you very much for your comment. Let's take that advice as it has been stated, and we note it as a committee for the processing of matters. We'll come back to members with the date for the other Section 139 oversight. We can now move, members, if we are all covered, to the minutes. Can you beam the first set of minutes? I think we have 3 sets.
Chairperson?
Yes, Mr. Manere. Oversight. Yeah. No, the study tour. Will request Tsepo and Dr. Clark, they are working together to present before the committee. We know that in the other committee we have heard it. They'll just summarize. the areas of focus on the study tour, so that it's minuted that we have received such a report, hoping that the processing of the matter is already in motion, because we have agreed that these are the two countries that we must visit. Over to you, Dr. Clark.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning, members. If I may just request to get sharing rights.
Are you assisting, Mr. Pan?
I'm going to load it now, Chairperson.
Okay. She wanted rights, but it's fine. You can load it.
Give her the rights, Chair.
Rights granted. Over to you, Doc.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and good morning, Chairperson, members, colleagues, and all on the platform. So we had a management meeting between the two committees who are intending undertaking the oversight visit. The chairpersons had asked us to look at specific areas and prepare just brief snapshots for members to consider. So the two countries, having considered the snapshots, the two countries that the both chairpersons and members in the management committee meeting had agreed on was Ethiopia and South Korea. And my responsibility for today's meeting is to provide a brief overview of the thematic areas that we used when looking at the two countries. The first area we looked at was the structure of government. So Ethiopia functions as a federal parliamentary republic with a multi-party system. They're organized into regional states, which would be equivalent to our provincial government that have considerable autonomy in local matters. So like South Africa, Ethiopia is a multi-level government, including national, regional, and local levels. South Korea also is a democratic republic, although they function within a presidential system. It has 16 provincial and 251 municipal governments who have been granted local authority. So they do have some federal unitary elements in that the central government maintains firm control over major policies, including those specifying local government functions, taxation, resident welfare, and services and manpower management. The provision of rail services, this element came in as the intention is for the study tour to be a joint study tour between this committee and the Committee on Public Infrastructure and Ministry in the Presidency. But I'll briefly touch on Ethiopia. Ethiopia has a joint 760 kilometers of railway line. The engagement with Ethiopia members can think of it as also allowing for peer learning between the countries, because Ethiopia is very much at the starting phase of the extension of its railway services. The approach to regional development, including railway, operates within its federal governance structure, where both national and regional governments play important roles in planning and implementation. It has a total of 760 kilometers of railway lines, although they do have ambitious plans to extend their railway network. At the moment, they do not have any operational highway rail systems, and instead they are now focusing on modernizing their railway infrastructure. South Korea is much more advanced members. They have a total of 4,837 kilometers of railway line. They have placed greater emphasis on technological innovation and public-private collaboration. This includes both standard gauge lines, connecting major cities and high-speed rail lines. They have also gained international recognition for traffic management systems, particularly in the Seoul metropolitan area, which showcases their traffic management systems. In terms of human settlements, Ethiopia follows a state-led development model, whereas South Korea predominantly has a state-controlled but market-driven approach to providing housing. Ethiopia's housing operates in a multi-level governance structure, so both regional governments, equivalent to our provinces, and city administrations have responsibilities for housing provision, whereas regional government sets policies and initiates programs. South Korea, like many of the other what we call East Asian tigers, their housing developed through notable innovation emerging from a rapid economic development, like in other countries. So they have what is referred to as a pre-sale housing market, where developers are allowed to sell dwelling units before construction actually takes place. And through such public housing provision, long-term public rental is available to citizens in South Korea. So South Korea employs a national housing and urban fund to support affordable housing through loans, diversified investments, and consumer financing. The last focus area is water services. So Ethiopia, much like South Africa, implements a decentralized approach to water provision. So water services is provided, the provision is not restricted to one level of government, but rather multiple actors and institutions. One of Ethiopia's unique water management system features is involvement of traditional community organizations. And these traditional community organizations actually perform essential water management functions, including making and enforcing decisions concerning water point management, access and use to water, the financing of water point construction, maintenance, and repair. South Korea also relies on a combination of metropolitan or industrial networks and local networks to deliver water services. The Korea Water Resource Corporation was established to manage large-scale water infrastructure, while local governments oversee and operate local waterworks. A sophisticated system of dams, irrigation, facilitation, and multi-regional water systems ensure water supply for various uses. So I've provided now a snapshot of the different thematic areas that we use to identify potential countries for study visits. We also looked at the population and the population growth, because that has particular implications for how the delivery of services and infrastructure and water and human settlements can be delivered. Thank you very much, Chairperson and members.
Thank you, Dr. Clark and the team. Honourable members, is the report noted for processing?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. We'll request both teams of our administration to start now formulating a detailed request for this study tour to be undertaken, which includes the itinerary to check how many days we can take in this visit. But remember, we can't steal more days of our work. We need to try and limit ourselves. We can't go for the whole month. Within a week, it should be certain days. And also in preparation for that, just leave a small space for us just to have a relaxed program. Don't put a program that starts at 6 a.m. and ends at 8 in the evening. Just leave a space for us to breathe, because we work very hard in these NCOP programs. Just give us that space to to be able to breathe when we're outside of the country instead of having a tight program that will make us coming back requesting to take leaves. That's what we will request the teams to do, and definitely the joint management will have to sit after developing such to look at the nitty-gritties. Can we then move to the minutes, the first set of minutes? I'm hoping that members have gone through the minutes. There is no need for us to go page by page, but we'll just browse through.
Chairperson.
Yes, Mr. Manel.
With your permission, Chair, I have communicated on the WhatsApp group that there are two sets of minutes that were shared with members, one on the 21st of May and on the 13th of May, and the second one on the 21st of May. I have also indicated on a WhatsApp group that despite the problem with regard to tools of trade, I have, in a way, used the tool of trade of my daughter that she's using for academic work to do parliamentary work, Chair, but just to put on record that there are two sets of minutes that have been shared with members of the Senate Committee. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. We apologize to your daughter that we have to disrupt her academic program because we don't give you necessary tools of trade. It's really uncalled for. We apologize to the family for that, but we thank you for your commitment to show that you want to see us continue working as a collective. We really appreciate that gesture, but it's not advisable that we should take advantage of family resources. We need to address the issue. As a chair, I will assist you that you get these tools of trade, including our researcher. He's in the same situation like a good self, so we'll have to push the team to address that technical challenge. Let's then move to the first page. Let's move up. We can see our names. Let's continue move to the next page. Yes. If there are corrections, members, per page, you can indicate. If you see something, don't wait for us to conclude.
Um, 6.7.
6.7. Let's go back to 6.7. Honorable Zimande.
I guess there is a challenge of
Yeah.
the type, the members. You see, it's written the director, the select committee. I guess there is a challenge there. But secondly, on the same sentence, binding directives, and every page where it is written direction, it must be read directive, so that I don't repeat myself.
Yes, yeah, you're correct.
Thank
you very much for that correction. We must effect the change, Mr. Manene. It's directives. The directives of the SEAL Committee. Directives. Yeah. But let's not do it now. Let's just note so that you can go and clean that section, so that we don't eat time for members. Let's continue. That means let's reduce the speed. Let's not move quickly. Let's reduce the speed. Yes, you can move up. The other way. We are going down. Thank you. Let me see the members. I think the comments there. Wait there. Honorable Saziwa, that's a chair of the Premier's office. Okay. I was looking at that surname. You may proceed. Let's proceed. Was this the end?
Was the end, Chair.
Oh, okay. But go to the end to see. Okay. Members, with this correction that have been effected, this is the true reflection of our deliberations. Can we get a mover? And the seconder? Honorable Skir Kocher?
I move, Chair.
Thank you. And
I
seconder?
second, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Imang and Honorable Peter seconded. Let's move to the next set, the last one. That's a meeting held on the 21st of May. Yes, let's move. Thank you. That's a set of minutes on the 21st of May. Can we get the mover if there are no corrections? Yes, Honorable Mokesin.
On issue of Nala, the issue of we didn't talk about the issue of the trucks that were bought that were not delivered. That they must be part of the report. Oh, I just want clarity. Maybe I miss it. We also talk about the 8 million of the Val Central, but there were issue of the investigation of the trucks, unless I'm wrong.
Nala, we have not yet visited them.
Huh?
Yeah,
They were
Nala
not-
municipality.
It's not here.
We have not visited Nala. We are still due to visit Nala.
No, but on the report last week when we were discussing about the 8 million of water, we didn't talk about the investigation of the trucks. I know we didn't do it.
We are
Yes.
asking them. Okay.
Yeah. I just want to check maybe the omission.
Mr. Manel.
Chairperson, I understand the issue raised by Honorable Makesini. Members will recall that during the departmental presentation, the department also indicated to the committee that the minister has recommended the invocation of Section 106 to deal with other allegations that relates to maladministration. Maybe that one as a separate item that the track issue should be investigated, Chair. Maybe it is within that context. But if Honorable Makesini feels that under the members' deliberation, it should be included, that there's no problem of including, Chairperson. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so as part of the contributions from members. So that must be captured. It's an amendment. With that, Honorable Makesini, do you want to move?
Yes, I move, Chair.
Thank you. Any seconder?
I second, Chair.
Honorable Chair, seconds. Thank you very much. The minutes are duly adopted. This brings us to the end of our deliberations for today. We have broken a new record.
Chairperson?
Yes.
With your permission, Chair, I thought you would make an announcement to the committee that on Thursday, the committee is planning to have yes, Chair. Can I allow that?
Yes.
So we do that?
Yeah, no, you're correct. Before we get there, members, let's request members who do not have passports to initiate that process as early as now, so that by the time the team concludes the traveling details, we won't be left behind. We want all members to go. So the issue of passports is very important. I don't know the processes of official passport from Parliament. How do you go about doing that? Maybe will be advised. But even just your personal passport is very important for it to be ready. Then the second issue is that there was a request which we have accepted, that the Auditor General wants to brief both Portfolio Committee of NA and the Select Committee of NCOP on the outcomes of audit to the departments that Cooperative Governance Department. And the meeting is scheduled for Thursday. We know that Thursdays are for caucuses at 10 o'clock. That is why we have made a specific request that the meeting should start early, so that by 10 o'clock we are done to join our caucuses. The meeting, you can give the details, Mr. Manele, confirm the time and the venue for Thursday.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, provisionally we have scheduled the meeting to start at 8 o'clock till 10, noting that members will be committed after 10 to attend their party caucuses, Chair. To Chair, the Secretariat is trying to identify a decent venue, probably in Mark's building, Chair. We're making a commitment that after this meeting, Chair, we'll communicate with members in due course. Lastly, Chair, we are aware that if members will be living there where they are staying at to attend the meeting at 8 o'clock. Logistically, we'll have to arrange transport arrangement for members, but we are making commitment that before the end of business today, we'll communicate with members accordingly so that we avoid any inconvenience, Chairperson. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you for those details. Members, you'll be informed because we need to leave. Traffic is terrible. We need to leave our villages as early as we can so that 8 o'clock we're able to start the meeting. For the meeting of chairpersons, we left at 7. We arrived at 10 past 8. So you can see that if we are starting at 8, we'll need maybe, it depends on the distance of different villages, but we need to leave early. Others will have to leave at 5:30 early in the morning. Others will have to leave at 6. Others will have to leave at 6:15 or 6:30. So we'll have to look at that. The team will coordinate, and also the pick-up points, which are your room numbers, will need to be put in the group as well, so that the team, when they coordinate, they'll be able to give details to the van drivers to come and fetch you from your villages. So those were the announcements. The last announcement is that we hope that your lunch will be ready, which we have prepared you from your respective places where you are located. If you are still in your house, please eat your lunch and finish it before 2 o'clock of the plenary. This meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, honorable members. Thank you to our support team for supporting this committee. I will request that Mr. Manel with Tsepo and Kunkuma, and as well as Mr. Ben, you remain behind before we vacate the platform. Thank you very much, leadership, honorable members. All the best for the plenary. We'll be presenting the report to the plenary, your report that we have consolidated, which affects 3 oversights that we conducted as a committee. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, siyabonga Sihlalo. Hey, ulokhu ukhomba njalo ngathi ukhomba thini? Lokhu ucofoza kanti ngathi uyasikhomba.
Njalo ihlezi kude wemphephethe. Esikude mphephethe, sorry bafowethu. Awu, engathi uphumile noBen. Usekhona Ben?
Sekhona Sihlalo.
Or when parliamentary streaming?
No, Chair, mna
Ubani parliamentary
committee.
streaming?
Parliamentary streaming, it's parliament streaming, YouTube.
Can you request them to vacate, because we just want to discuss. We don't want this thing to be streamed. Is it possible?